It's the Vendetta in Vegas, Arm Fight 44 on Fremont Street. Outdoors, huge crowd here, great atmosphere, and this is going to be fun. We are talking about two big-time pullers, heavyweights, Jan Zolcinski from Poland and Mikel Gould from Toronto, Canada. Let's hear from the big man from Poland, Jan Zolcinski.
Golda, no to wiem, że jest bardzo doświadczonym i silnym zawodnikiem. Wiem,
Mikel Gould is the very strong and very famous athlete. I have watched some of his videos when preparing to this fight, and what can I say, this is not very comfortable competitor for me, but I didn't have much time to prepare for him. What I'm paying attention to mostly is working on my endurance. I know that the break between fights is just 1 minute, and I will try to end this fight as soon as possible.
Mike, I'm gonna beat you.
And he was just here for Arm Fight 43, now right back in Vegas for Arm Fight 44. Let's introduce Jan Zolcinski.
Las Vegas, here we go. Coming to the table first, he is 29 years old, standing 6 feet 4 inches tall. He weighed in at 243.4 pounds. He is currently ranked in the top 10 overall at any weight class left-handed. He is a multi-time champion, including a third at the World Championships, fighting out of Poland. Please welcome Jan Zolcinski.
And as intimidating as Jan Zolcinski looks, he's one of the nicest guys.
You want to know how nice he is? We did Arm Fight 43 over at the Hard Rock over the summer months, and as he was getting up on stage to prepare for his match, he called his fiancée or his girlfriend up, got down on one knee, proposed. She said yes. He went and dominated his match seconds later.
What a sensitive guy. He's not going to be very sensitive in a minute, though, when he pulls with Mike Gould, I'll tell you that much.
Well, here are the particulars for Zolcinski.
Yeah, he's 29 years old, which is a great age for the sport of arm wrestling, just coming into his own. He's going to be giving up a lot of weight to Mike Gould at 246, but let me tell you something. Strong man, strong arms, unbelievable press on Jan Zolcinski.
All right, and his competitor, Mike Gould, he is fired up, ready, and curious how this match might go tonight, but he talks about his years of experience and a unique training regimen.
You know, I've been arm wrestling for probably 27, 28 years. It started out for me, it was a passion, and, you know, I heard about a tournament, and I showed up, and, you know, of course, I thought I was a lot better than I was, and fortunate enough to hook up with a bunch of guys and be able to train with them, and over the years, you know, pick up a little bit, and it's been good. Arm wrestling's been good to me. My opponent, Jan, I really don't know a whole lot about. We've never met, which makes it very exciting, really. But I've watched a few videos. He's got great inside power, and he looks like a real athlete. He's in a lot better shape than I am. But he's going to have to come out strong and be very aggressive. And I wish him the best of luck. I think he's a real force. Everything I've seen with him, I mean, he's huge and he looks super strong. But if I catch him sleeping a little bit, he's going to be in a lot of trouble.
Las Vegas, his opponent. He is 51 years old, 6 feet 1 inch tall. He weighed in at 305.8 pounds. He is a multi-time Canadian national champion. He is a 2-time world champion. His Mike Gould Classic has been one of the world's top arm wrestling events for the past 15 years. Ladies and gentlemen, from Canada, here is Mike the Crusher Gould.
Look at the size of Mike Gould. He's such a big, impressive man. The size of those forearms, those biceps. And I'll tell you right now, that man's resume in arm wrestling is as good as anybody's. Mike Gould.
two-time world champion. I found it interesting. He said, well, Zolcinski's in better shape than I am. I think he's just fine.
Yeah, you know, we were joking around because he was saying his son is getting recruited to play basketball in college, and he said his jump shot isn't as good as his son's, and I said, well, how could it be? You can't raise your arms over your head. Okay, you see right there, 51 years old, but for Mike Gould, that's not going to be a problem.
3 forearms and biceps, my goodness.
21-inch biceps. I'll tell you what, a big bicep can get in your way on the table
The
sometimes.
big boys about to go at it, Las Vegas. The head referee in charge, Mr. Leonard Harkless.
I spoke with Mike just moments before he was to go on the stage, and he's curious. I mean, obviously he's focused, but he doesn't know. The one thing he knows is that Zolcinski is strong as an ox, and he says that's the one thing he's concerned about. He thinks he has the experience edge, that he's just concerned about dealing with his power.
Yeah, and you know, when I spoke with Mike last week, we were talking about, like, how do you approach a guy that's got a strong press like that or a strong shoulder roll like Zolcinski? And a lot of times you just need to load with a lot of side pressure and try to separate their arm from their shoulder so that they can't get that big, strong shoulder behind it. We'll see what Mike Gould's approach is here. You can see right there, I mean, you know, Mike Gould, if there's one flaw in Mike Gould's game, it's that he opens up a lot. You can see in the angle of his arm, it's opened a great deal, but sometimes he generates a lot of back pressure that way.
Brian Blessing, James Rentarides, multiple U.S. national champion, here with you on Fremont Street, downtown Las Vegas. The left-hander's going tonight.
Oh, yeah, and you can see Zolcinski, very low grip. He's making no bones about it. He's really trying to seal off that wrist joint. All right, we're going into a referee's grip.
All right, gentlemen.
James, talk about
the referee's grip. I
the
will foul
first
you.
round.
Don't move that.
Yeah.
It's the great unknown. What are the guys thinking right now?
Well, it's like Mike Gould had said to me earlier this week. Part of the excitement of the sport is you just don't know that first match. You can come in confident, you can come in with a whole bunch of self-doubt, but you just don't know until that first match goes off. And
Well, you
we're
can
gonna find out right here.
train and plan for months, and then all of a sudden the knuckleball comes at you.
Yeah, you don't know what that guy's doing. Yeah, could be throwing that knuckler. You can see Mike Gould dipping underneath a little bit.
Ready, no.
Oh, yeah, you can see right there. Zolcinski trying to go in with that tricep right away into what's called a shoulder roll maneuver. He wants to work his shoulder behind his hand and wrist because he knows that's where his power is, driving that tricep behind. But he got a false start warning, right? I mean, a false start foul there in a referee's grip.
What is the false start foul specific?
Okay, if you are in a referee's grip, it is a foul if you start moving. If they weren't in a referee's grip and he started moving, it would just be a warning. But it's a foul because they're in Leonard Harkless's grip.
And again, the difference with we've got the referee's grip. We may see the strap eventually, but exactly what is the referee trying to accomplish here?
He's just trying to get him straight. And right there, you can see there's a little bit of a dip in the wrist. And look at Zolcinski dominant. Actually rotated through Mike Gould. I did not expect to see that.
1-0.
Switch sides.
And Mike Gould looks at Zolcinski, nods his head, and says, "Good job."
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, Mike Gould is. If you can see right here, Zolcinski, low roll right through those bottom fingers. Mike is definitely going to have to correct that before the next match. But you know, as you said, you know, Mike Gould just acknowledged it. Just said, "Hey, listen, that was a good match." And I think, you know, when you're looking at Zolcinski, you are looking at the future of the sport left-handed right there. I mean, he's got such impressive wins.
James, speak to the camaraderie of these guys. They all know each other. You hear Gould's getting ready for his bout, which is to come. And literally about 45 minutes before he was to get out there, a match between Alan Ford and Herman Stevens. He was out there counseling, coaching, and helping Alan Ford. Even, you know, just before he's got to get out there. I think it speaks volumes about the camaraderie in this sport.
And that's been the sport for a long time. You know, it is like a big extended family. Whether you train with guys or not, you see them at events and you root for them and you help them out. You know, there's a lot of give and take. You can see right here, Mike is still setting up. It looks like a little bit to go inside. He's trying to get a good wrap on Zolcinski's hand, on the back of his hand. I think Mike's hand size might be a bit of a detriment in this match. He's definitely going to have to get Zolcinski's shoulders square if he wants a chance in this match, though.
Come around.
because you can see Zolcinski's really dipping that left shoulder behind his
Yes,
hand.
square
There you
your
go. See
shoulders. Now
Leonard
leave
Harkless
that.
squaring the shoulders.
Talk
Straighten
about the
your
legs
wrist.
and how they
Straighten your
impact.
wrist.
Well, you're going to get a lot of drive off of that leg on your competing side.
Ready, go!
Oh, there you go. Mike Gould holding on strong. I mean, you can see he's got an unbelievably strong hook. Not enough for Zolcinski, though. Zolcinski had him way too separated. But to answer your question about the legs, you know, some competitors will like to wrap the leg, as you saw Zolcinski doing. Others will set up with their foot on right on the leg of the table, so that they can get a good push off and a hit.
51 years old and still one of the
Look at
best
the
in the
intensity.
world.
Oh, you see that strain, and all of a sudden he falls to the side, and this time Mike Gould stops it. Mike Gould's shaking. I've had that happen before, where you're just pulling so hard that everything shakes, and there you go. Zolcinski, your winner.
Match number 3 coming up.
There's one problem with setting up with your foot in that position, though. If you get hit out of position, it's hard to recover.
Słucham?
So far, Zolcinski in complete control. Arm fight 44.
Ma skrzywioną przegrodę. Dobrze. Bardzo Ci dziękuję. Bardzo Ci dziękuję, naprawdę.
And back with the heavyweights, downtown Las Vegas, Arm Fight 44. Jan Zolcinski, Mike Gould going at it. Mike from Toronto, we spoke with him, and proud but unhappy the way things ended for his Toronto Blue Jays. So, and I said to him, I'm a big hockey fan. I said, hey, we got hockey. We'll be okay. He goes,
You still got the Leafs, right? Yeah.
well, we got hockey. The Leafs have been struggling.
All right, well,
his Blue Jays had a great year.
They sure did.
And boy, there, and you see it right now. The energy that these guys put out.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like, you know, anything. You do anything as hard as you can for an extended period of time, and wow, arm wrestling, I tell you, it's like lifting the heaviest weight you can for a long time.
To the novices out there, I mean, a match that could only last 10, 15 seconds, or even 4 or 5 seconds, it still exacts a toll.
Think of the heaviest weight you can hold for that time, and that's what it feels like. It's brutal.
Ready, go!
Oh, Zolcinski again. Quick hit to the pad. Mike Gould catches it really low. I mean, you look at the fight in the Canadian. Mike Gould. You know, Mike Gould is a consummate professional, and he will be back for these last 3 matches. I guarantee you Mike Gould puts up a fight.
Can you talk about the combination of speed
Dlatego, że
and
wracasz, to jest dobra reklama.
Oh, wow, you know, that's the killer right there. I mean, if you can be fast and strong in arm wrestling, then that's the jackpot. You can see Zolcinski really dragging Mike back. Mike is not in the best position. His palms turned up in that hook. Looks like he's got a decent wrap on the back of Mike's hand. I think Zolcinski's hand is coming into play, too, in this hook. He's grabbing him very low on that wrist joint, too, really shutting down Mike's rotation. And by rotation, I mean the actual pronation of the hand.
well, Zolcinski, 29 years of age, Gould, 51 years of age. So now we talk about deeper in a match, youth versus a 51-year-old out there going against this big, strong guy.
Sure. And you can see that those matches have taken their toll on Mike. You know, but if you look at Jan, I mean, Jan he looks a little bit, he's a little bit winded himself. You know, when I tell people all the time, you know, nothing strengthens your arms like arm wrestling. And there's a reason for it. I mean, it really puts everything from your fingertips all the way through your shoulders into your back to the test.
And there you see Gould, and talk about returning the favor, Alan Ford there to now be there and support and consult Mike Gould.
Sure.
Zolcinski up 3-0.
I hope he's got a magic elixir, because Zolcinski looks pretty tough to tackle right now.
Well, you know, if I'm Mike Gould right now, I'm probably
Shoulders
not
first.
setting up inside like he is. But I know how Mike is. Mike's one of those guys that he wants to see how strong you are. He's gonna go attack that arm.
Hold your grip.
You know, rather than maybe taking a chance at removing the fingers of Zolcinski, so that he has a better chance of pulling him
Hit
outside.
it and don't move.
Talk about just the fact that they're
Ready,
going with
go!
the left hand here. And Zolcinski again in dominant fashion.
Zolcinski.
Any of these guys can specialize in one arm. These guys are capable of both.
I can tell you this right now, both of these guys are capable of both. Gould is definitely, that's his dominant arm, his left arm, but he's beaten legends right-handed as well. You can see right here, very fast inside, textbook hook maneuver by Zolcinski. But Zolcinski, I mean, you're talking about a guy who has been dominant. He took a guy from Brazil named Wagner Bartolato, who is the dominant puller in Brazil in the heavyweights, and he was in a decent hook match with him, and he turned and put his shoulder behind him and just folded right through him like a hot knife through butter. I'd never seen somebody do that to Bartolato before, so I'd just let you know exactly how strong the young Zolcinski is.
Well, you know, and Jan was talking about the combination of strength and stamina being his greatest attributes, but
look at that forearm.
The speed's pretty impressive too.
Sure. I mean, you know, he's very quick to getting into position. I tell people a lot of times, you know, arm wrestling isn't about being fast to the pad. I mean, just being fast doesn't mean just hitting somebody really quick to the table. It means being quick into a position, into a dominant position, and that's what he's doing today. Match 5, Zolcinski up 4 matches to none.
Now, would Zolcinski in this spot, are there things he could work on? He's got the match, he's won. What might be something he would try to work on here for future contests?
He might want to work on his top pressure a little bit. See what he can do in there. He's going right into a deep hook with Mike Gould. He's letting Mike get into a very powerful position. We got an elbow foul.
Elbow foul on Gould.
It looks like Mike Gould elbow foul.
Came about an inch and a half off the front.
Looks like he came through from what Leonard Hart was just saying, he came off the front of the pad. Mike's having a good time with it. He always does. You know, Zolcinski's going inside with him, forearm to forearm, just testing inside power with him. But Mike does look a little bit spent, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's the final round.
Sure.
You guys all right with that? Ready, go!
Inside, look at that. Mike Gould trying to re-grip. Gets his knuckles in a much better position. That's how strong Mike Gould is from that spot. You're getting to see exactly where he's strong. Zolcinski rolling a little bit against the fingers. Look at that. You saw him let go. He's trying to re-grip and rotate through Mike's fingers because he knows how strong Gould is from that spot. And he kind of let him get there. You know what I mean? Now I think he's probably regretting it a little bit.
He's good old-fashioned battle here.
Oh, yeah. And you can see Mike Gould standing up trying to get his shoulder behind it. There goes Zolcinski out the back door trying to go through those bottom fingers into what we call a post maneuver. And Mike Gould has got that strong little hand holding on. But Zolcinski looks like he's getting a little bit of headway there. Look at this match.
The longest match of the night.
The look on Mike Gould's face. He's going to be, you're going to see him tonight in the hotel with some ice, his arm in a bucket of ice. I guarantee that. Look at this match. What a war.
Incredible.
Zolcinski gets him.
Incredible.
Yeah. What a match.
Match of the night.
That is respect right there, though.
Incredible. Zolcinski.
Yep.
What a battle.
And, you know, heading into this last round, they're both going to be pretty beat. You can tell. Zolcinski got a little cut on his arm right there. Yeah, sometimes, you know, when that happens is it's a screw that'll come through one of the pads, or you'll drag your elbow off the back of the pad and get like a little rug burn.
You think of the force that these two men were generating there.
It's incredible. I can put it that way. I mean, you know, because that type of hooking, it takes so much power. And when I say stuff like, you know, this is like martial arts for really strong men, I mean, it's you know, it's guys that are using every muscle in their body to execute an arm wrestling move, to execute an arm wrestling technique. And when you go into a deep power hook like that, you feel it everywhere. The next day you wake up, you got a huge bruise on your hip. You know what I mean? Because you were pushing with your hip. Your core is sore. And as you can see right here, you know, they're engaging everything. Zolcinski dragging through.
Was Zolcinski working on something here?
Well, I think he was trying to work on his rotation through a hook at one point. I think what happened, though, is Gould got in there deep enough to really give Zolcinski some work, and then he was like, I want to get out of this. And he started trying to rotate through him. He eventually gets Mike's palm turned up, and you can see his bottom two fingers kind of come off a little bit. And when that happens, it's a lot easier to rotate and pin.
29 years old, one of the top 10 overall at any weight class, left-handed.
But from a current form perspective,
the sixth and final match.
Zolcinski is ultra impressive.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the current world rankings in every single, to combine all the weight classes, they had him ranked at number 9, and he might even be higher than that.
Mike Gould's a great guy. You saw Leonard Hart was chuckling right before this last match. Gould said something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and you can see Zolcinski is trying to work on that rotation. Gould going to more of what's called a shoulder roll maneuver, which is hard for a guy with an arm as big as Mike Gould's. And Mike's not a tall guy. You know, the shoulder rollers, it tends to be a move that the taller guys like because they can stand up and get their shoulder near the middle of the table.
Elbow foul on Gould.
Yeah.
And again, Gould cracks the referee out.
You got one elbow foul. Keep your
You know, Mike is just a really affable guy. He's got a great sense of humor, and he's just such a good guy. Very,
Ready,
very
go!
humble guy. You can see right there, Mike going right back to that spot.
Gould got the jump on him this time.
Oh, he did. Zolcinski's still trying to come through that back door, though. You see him re-grip over his thumb, trying to rotate out. Look at the blood on his forearm. These guys have really been going to war today. They come out. Yeah, Mike Gould, why not? Give it a shot. Let's go in the straps.
Oh, brother. let's go out in style with the strap.
You see that smile on Leonard Harkless's face? What that is
Don't move.
I know you guys slipped intentionally, but I'm just not going to call
Thumbs
it.
down. Thumbs down.
As you can see in the replay, look at the strain
Slow.
on Mike Gould's face.
Slow.
Really driving, and then you can see him let go with the hand, and Mike Gould comes right out the back and slips.
all right.
Yeah.
To talk about the difference here, the first time these gentlemen will be in the strap. What should we look for here?
What I see right now is it looks like Zolcinski's getting really far forward with his palm. And that's good. You want to do that when the buckle is on your hand. But the one thing that you want to do is make sure that that buckle doesn't come across your hand. And as you can see, it looks like Leonard Harkless is tightening it across his hand. That makes it hard to rotate through the strap. So that could actually give Mike a little bit of an advantage. It might make it harder for Zolcinski to be able to rotate through his wrist. Though it looks like Mike is giving a little wrist before the go.
Boy, you get a good look. Look at the biceps on Zolcinski.
Oh, yeah. It's unbelievable. The biceps, look at the forearms. I mean, the development of that arm is just so incredible. Look at how opened up he is. Mike Gould standing up, nice and tall, getting on top of it. He's in a press move right now, and look at that. Jan Zolcinski, 6 matches to none.
That's a battle the last 2 rounds. And you talk about huge respect from both gentlemen.
Yeah, you can't do anything but respect 2 guys like that. And there's your champion today. That guy right there, future of left-handed arm wrestling, and we got to see him today.
That was going to be my next question. How good does he get? I mean the future's now, but what does the future hold?
Well, on the top of the mountain is a guy named Andrei Pushkar. And Pushkar has got a considerable amount of weight on Zolcinski, but you got to have goals, right?
And I would just say this too. I did ARMFIGHT43 again over at the Hard Rock, and Andrei Pushkar. He pushed a legend around in Richard Lupkus, who is a man-mountain.
He certainly is. Look at that. You see, there's the spot right there where Mike Gould loses his wrist. You know, and Mike just staying behind it and pressing with his wrist flopped back. Zolcinski scooping up, getting underneath it, standing up and putting his shoulder behind his hand right about there. And boom, there's that press I was talking about.
Zolcinski. Awesome performance tonight over Mike Gould. We'll be back to Vegas in a moment.